Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 22 with our realistic series. I'm just working my way around the outside edge of the field, getting all of the bits that we've missed, and just realised that there's actually quite a big chunk right there that the plows didn't get to yet. So after I've finished doing the tidy up on here, I will get the plows working on that. But I do need to do once more around the field because there's still like a few little bits that are left behind, and I would actually like to get all of those tidied up. So I'm going to just spin these plows around a minute like this, and then I'm going to head off down the field in this wise direction. And yeah, I know I should have had the plows going like facing the other way for going around the field in the other direction. I just didn't, for reasons. Mainly because I kind of forgot to. But yeah, anyway, I'll just finish doing this, then we can set them going back there, and 9 o'clock is when the shop opens, so we can go and get that hoe and then head up to the field and take care of the weeds up in the barley field. Right, I have managed to get all the way around the field twice, and I have tidied everything up. So I'm just going to leave the hired help just to finish off this little tiny wedge up here. The shop should now be open. It is 4 minutes past 9. There we go. So we have sat here and we've had a cup of coffee in our cab and ate a sandwich as well. We brought bacon sandwiches with us. So we had a bacon sandwich, and now we are ready and raring to go. So we're going to go into here and we're going to take a look down through... oh, there, weeders. Right. And we're going to have that one. See, I did mention it before. I know I've already mentioned it, but it irritates me that with the seasons, I've almost never seen the fields in a state where you can use these to just pull out the small weeds, right? There's loads of them. They're all the ones for the small weeds, but they never actually seem to be working. So I don't really know what's going on with that. I don't know why the weeds are basically set to grow so much faster than everything else. Let me know in the comments section if you've also noticed this being a little bit of an issue, because for me it does seem to be something that happens a lot. I mean, maybe you need to take the weeder for the small weeds over the field, like a weeder instead of a hoe like this. Maybe I need to be taking it over the field as a preventative measure just after I've planted, rather than doing it as a treatment measure. Unfortunately, whilst that does seem like a good idea, I should have gone up the track. No, I've got to go around the road. Anyway, alright, we'll go around the road. Unfortunately, I don't think you can use hired help to do it as a preventative measure going over the field. I think it does actually work, but I don't think you can actually use the hired help to do it, which is even more of a nuisance because for this series I want to use the hired help for everything. So, well, I mean, it doesn't really matter. We've bought the hoe now. This is the one that we've got, and I'm quite happy to use this one. I think this one is just fine. And the crops are only on the first growth stage, which means we don't need row crop wheels. Row crop tires on our tractor. We can just go over with normal ones. The plants are really small, so they won't actually get damaged by the tractor driving over them. They'll just get squashed a little bit and then carry right on growing without any issues whatsoever. So we don't need to worry about any of that. We will whiz off down this way. See, I mean, that field right there, that's got fully grown weeds in it all over. Actually, is that? They're medium-sized weeds as well. They've been there for a couple of months, and they're still on medium-sized weeds. So the medium-sized weeds apparently are a thing. And there's medium-sized weeds that we had up on this one, not the small weeds, which was something that bugged me. But anyway, we've got the hoe now. It doesn't really matter. We had the money. We were able to buy this one. So we're going to unfold this bad boy right here. We're going to come in onto the field. And I'll do once around the outside edge with this one, so just lower it down, and all you have to do is just drag it through the crop like that. Now, obviously in real life, this is a precision instrument, and it has to go in between the rows of the crop that is growing in order for it to be able to work properly. But this is just a game at the end of the day, so we don't need to worry about that. All we need to do is basically just drag it across the field, which is a lot easier, I must admit. Using a precision instrument for hoeing is, so long as you've got the straight lines, it's not so bad. But it is very easy to mess up and make a mistake with it. Very, very, very easy. And I've only tried using one of these once, and it was on quite small scale equipment. And I did okay. There was definitely room for improvement there. Another weed machine I did use, which I think I have told you about, was one that was a gas-fired one. And basically it burned off the weeds. Now, the chap that I worked for at the time was all he was hyping this thing up big time. And, like, he's getting this new experimental, well, not experimental, this new weeder that he's seen being used. And it's really amazing because it has these flames that go out and they burn off the small weeds. And the theory is that the bigger plants would only get singed a little bit, but because they've been planted and they're already established, it's not going to do them any damage. Whereas the really small weeds coming up, they actually get burnt to the point where it knocks them right back or kills them. And that's excellent, because then once the crop itself grows up beyond a certain point, the crop it's spread out sufficiently that it chokes out any of the weeds, and weeds are no longer an issue. So all you've got to do is basically control the weeds in the early stages, and then the plants themselves will stop any weeds from being able to compete against them. Everything sounds wonderful. Now, he had this flame thing, so it was basically like a big plate where the flames would be going in underneath. Sounded really, really awesome. And we get this thing, and it's basically just I was picturing kind of like a grid, well, almost kind of like the top of that hoe right there, and you'd be able to see the flames sort of spreading out across and burning stuff, and that was kind of what I was picturing. It wasn't like that at all. It was a great big kind of solid plate, and you lit the flames in underneath with a long taper thing. You had a gas tank that was strapped to the back of it, and you just drove around the field excruciatingly slowly, not able to see anything at all. Unless you were off the tractor and lying on your side and looking under the thing, you couldn't see that there were any flames there. It was just painfully, because you had to go really slow, like half the speed of this. So you had to just drive really, really slowly across the fields and let the machine kind of just carry on and do what it was doing. But it was so dull, and after the guy had seen it working, and he was still hyping it up as being really exciting, and then we kind of tried it out for a little bit, and I managed to persuade him that he would enjoy it more than me. And so fortunately I wasn't left to go and weed the fields with the flamethrower. He was talking about using the flamethrower for days afterwards. Quite frankly, it was one of the greatest disappointments, one of the most anticlimactic experiences of my farming career, was seeing a flamethrower brought out to control the weeds, only to find out that it was in fact a bit like dragging a saucepan over the top of it was literally like dragging an upside down saucepan over the top of the field and seeing what would happen. It was about as exciting as that. I mean, it really was boring to use it. It was. I didn't like that thing at all. So yeah, that was my experience with the flamethrower weeder, and yeah, I'm not in any great hurry to go and use that again. Even using a weeder like this is not the most exciting of jobs, but at least with a weeder like this you can see something happening, which is better than what you could with that thing. And that thing, you had to go so slow that, yeah, you were struggling just to stay awake in your cab. Anyway, I digress. We don't need to worry about that. So this one is going to carry on here and hopefully weed the rest of this field. That does look like he's going to do a great job. Okay, we can trust him to carry on there, and we are going to go over here. Have you actually... Oh, there's a couple of little tiny bits that are left. That's fine. We can go and get those. And once we've done that, that will be everything that we need to do. Now, if I do oh no, it doesn't. Not when you do control for the B. For some reason, B doesn't allow you to do control B and flip both of them. It only allows you to do that with picking them up and lowering them, and I think switching on machines that need to be switched on as well. I'm going to just finish that, and then we'll drive back to the farm. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that we actually need to do this autumn in the way of field prep. So we've got this field right here. This one's now prepped and ready. Well, it's ploughed. I won't worry about putting down seed because putting down fertilizer, because we can do that with... oh, wait, did our seed drill have seed in it? I'm not sure. That field up there, that actually needs a layer of fertilizer on it. So we're going to want to put fertilizer on that field. Oh. Alright. Let me fold this one up and we'll head on back. Actually, I want to go out on this track here. So we'll fold these two up and we'll go out on this track and we'll see where this one takes us. Curious now. And we will get back to our farm. We're going to need to put some fertilizer. I genuinely can't remember right now if our... Right, what have we got here? This is Centro Distribute. Okay, this is the distribution place. This, I think we can buy... We can bring stones in here to sell them. We can buy lime as well from here, I think. There's nothing that we need to worry about, though. So, we go back to our farm. It's going to be our first thing to do. And then once we get back there, let me try and get around these stop signs without knocking them over. It's a little bit awkward trying to sort of maneuver around with this plough stuck out in front of us as well. So I guess, you know, maybe there is disadvantages to these front-mounted ploughs in that they're a little bit more awkward for driving around on the roads. But I'm sure we'll be fine. We will cope. At some point, we want to try and buy these trees in here on our right-hand side so that we... Huh. Well, I wasn't expecting that. I was trying to avoid the sign and the car drove in. How did the car win that fight? There's another car there. Stay away from me. There we go, the physics. The physics in this game are brilliant. Alright, we're just good. I know we're playing realistically, but we're going to ignore that because, quite frankly, if I'd hit that car like that, the tractor wouldn't have bounced off onto his side. The car would have been flattened like a pancake. So we're just going to ignore that little incident and pretend none of it happened. I think that's probably for the best. So, what was I even talking about? Oh, fertilizer. I was just trying to remember if we've got fertilizer. Does that drill give us fertilizer or not? Let's go and have a look. I can't remember if it does or not. Seeds and fertilizer. Right, so we don't want to fertilize the fields before we plant them because it's a complete total waste of time. If we do fertilize them before we plant them, all that we end up doing is then not being able to benefit from the fertilizer that goes from the seed drill. So it makes no difference whatsoever. Now, I've used the button to do the cleaning on this several times lately, so just for once we're going to actually do the pressure washing. So we'll clean that one off there. For those of you, as once again, I do say this fairly frequently, the dirt percentage bit that I've got at the bottom of the screen, this is on the mod hub. This mod, it's simply called Pressure Washer HUD. That is it, HUD, Pressure Washer HUD. That's it for the name. It's nothing complicated. It's a very, very simple little mod, and I actually really like it. I think it's amazing. Just being able to see the percentage come down, because sometimes you're not quite sure. Like some of the machines, are a little bit difficult to see if you've completely 100% cleaned it. So either you spend way too long on it, or you kind of like, you sort of stop a little bit early, and then your machine ends up getting dirty way faster than you expect it to. And it's because actually you only cleaned it down to like 20%. So like the plow right here, that's looking pretty clean now, but it's still on 50% dirt. So it would dirty up pretty quickly if we were using it. Now I know that for a lot of you that the dirt level doesn't really make much difference, but for some of you it does. So there. Now we've got it nice and clean. We can go and put these plows away, and then well, there isn't actually anything that we need to do with the tractor, because we're not going to be spreading fertilizer on any of the fields just yet. Oh, actually, no, yeah, tell a lie, we will, won't we? There's one field that we do want to fertilize, and that's the one up there that has got the barley in it. We're busy using the weeder on it right now. We need to put fertilizer on that field as well. So I'm going to bring you in here. Like, oh yeah, I remember now. We got this issue. You first need to unfold, and if you unfold, you can't unhitch it. So you have to do that, and that is something that I dislike. But oh well, we can overlook that a little bit. Sometimes these mods do have little tiny mistakes like that. You'd think, though, that with the quality control thing with Giants, they would say something like, you know, basically say, no, this mod is broken. It doesn't allow you to unhitch correctly. Fix it. Make this mod so that you can actually unhitch it correctly. I mean, maybe they don't actually want to be too concerned about things like that, but I would be inclined to push towards it, but that's just me. Anyway, what is it that we need to do now? I've got eggs there. We're going to need to find a way to pick those eggs up and move them at some point. I'm thinking a small autoload trailer might be the answer. We will have to see. So I've got barley. I was going to do chickpeas and lentils, and these two fields are going to be corn, and I'm pretty sure I said that I was going to go with sugar beet on there. Yeah, I did. I was going to go with sugar beet so that we can get our chopped sugar beet. Yes. So we can get our chopped sugar beet in order to be able to make this. So we will need to buy a pallet or two of that, and the water won't be a problem, and then we can make the protein feed for the chickens. And then we've got over here, this is the cut master, which we will need. And then, what else was it that we also wanted to be able to do? No. It was that one. We wanted to take manure, and we wanted to be able to take some digestate, and we want to turn that into solid fertilizer. And then we've got pistachio oil. Although there's actually a building that we can go and buy that has that. And I think there's a bottled milk building as well that we can go and buy that we've seen on the map. So I'm not sure if we're able to fully use those or not. And then we've got the pallet factory right here. I haven't yet seen a pallet factory, and this is... So maybe I do actually need to go and buy one of those. Because if you look down here, you can see that we've got no actual... Was it down here? It's either here. I think it was actually on this bit here. There's no symbols down here for any of it, but I think you can go and buy these items and then use them. It might be that we got to have the Pro map set up to be able to do that. So it's got open objects, pistachio oil production. I can buy the plot of land. I don't know if buying the plot of land will give me the pistachio oil production on there. It's just something that we'll have to find out later on if that's what we want to do. So at the moment, I'm not going to worry about it. But the one thing that I was going to try and see, that says Carpinteria. So something to do with the carpenter, so something to do with wood. So the one thing that I was curious about was whether there was a plot of land that had a pallet factory put down on, so that if we bought that one, we would be able to make pallets. And I got a feeling someone said there was one on the map somewhere. I just don't know where. That's kind of the issue. I'm not quite sure where the factory in question is, because it's not that one. That's for raisins in there. I'm here at the moment. I've sort of walked over there, so I've walked around the town, and there's signs saying Carpinteria. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. But it was signposted up along this road, so I'm assuming that it might be this building here. So I'm just going to keep following this track, and I'm going to see if I can find anything. Alright, this bit right here is a cattle yard, by the look of it. We've got a feed robot here, takes straw, silage, grass, and so on. And then we've got the cattle yard itself in there. So that's that bit. And then carry on down. Right, now what have we got? Industrial textile, so industrial textiles, carpinteria, something to do with the woods, panaderia. There's a bakery. Coronella is to do with the milk. Molino Asuka, I have no idea what that is. Not a clue. So we've got textiles down here. There, see, cows. So there's textiles and a carpenter, woodwork of some kind. Whether it's a sawmill or is something else, I don't really know. This is... I'm now confused. I'm now producing noises of confusion. Because it's directing me to go down this way, but I've been along the roads. There's nothing up that one, and there's nothing along this one. This is cows in here. This is not a... Unless well, I'm assuming that it's not, because it's got a big picture of timber right there. There is a giant coin right there, sitting on the corner of that bench. What this does. Collect. I can press R to collect it. Curious, what is that going to give me? They gave me 40,000 euros for finding a giant silver coin in the middle of a crowd of people. I don't know why no one else picked it up. Maybe they got more brain. They probably got more sense than to go picking up the valuable ancient coins, because they don't want the associated curse. For us, we have no... yeah, please stay on the trails. For us, we have no such common sense. We're fools. We've picked up the coin, and now we will probably suffer the consequences. All right, you know what? I'm done with trying to find this mysterious carpinteria thing, because everywhere I go towards these signs, there's just nothing. There's the cows. We found the cow place, but the industrial textiles and the carpinteria bit don't seem to be there. I'm assuming, therefore, that they don't seem to be here. I'm making the assumption that these items that I'm looking for are actually... Well, they're either up here, or they... Who's we call it? Thingamagub. They're not on this version of the map. They're on the Pro map, but they're not on this one. So it could be either. I don't really know. Doesn't really matter that much. I've had a little bit of a walk around. You've decided to just give up now because, what, you're tired? I'm not really sure what your reasoning is behind this, but clearly you don't wish to be employed anymore, so that's fine. You go on home and have yourself some rest, and I'll find someone that does actually want a job to carry on. So we will bring you over here. So I'm going to need to bring fertilizer up to this field, and I want to get the fertilizer on now. Right, you go to there. That one's going to carry on and keep going with the weeding, and then I'm going to go to you. We've got our fertilizer spreader right here. Yes, it's full of lime at the moment, so we need to Now, this is the thing. I don't think that I can remove the lime from here just normally. We do have lime storage over there. So I can put lime into this one, but I don't think I can take it back out again. I think what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to just kind of like drop it in the middle of the yard and then fill it up that way. But I also need to go and get the fertilizer. So what I'll do here, because I can't just drive over there and get rid of it, I will go to here and then press I like that. So it's just going to drop that down there. And then we've got some bags of fertilizer down over this way first. So I'm going to go and get those and I'm going to drop them in here. And then that I'm hoping will be enough to be able to fertilize the field up there. So we've got this in round here. There. Right, that's 2 bags of seed and 2 bags of fertilizer in there. So let's back you up a little bit. It should be close enough. There we go. Excellent. Drop in a solid fertilizer in there. And this is what we're going to make using the machine do that once we've got digestate coming from the biogas plant. So we don't have to go and spread the liquid digestate on our fields and buy the expensive equipment that you need to do that. We'll process it and turn it into solid fertilizer. The only thing that we're going to need to go with that is some manure. And kind of torn as to how I'm going to do that. Like, we can either just buy it from someone else. We could get some cows, but a lot of you said you don't really want me doing too much with animals, and cows, in order, especially if we're going to do enough cows to get us a decent quantity of manure, we're just not going to be able to do that and then keep our focus on crops and doing a few factory pieces like that. So I'm sort of thinking that we probably won't mess around with the cows. I think we'll leave those. So maybe we'll do sheep, but I don't think they give us any manure. I mean, maybe they do on this map. Some maps they do, and some they don't. Right. Now, I'm going to run you up across here. Possibly the 2,000 litres we've got is not enough. Possibly. We'll find out in a minute. Well, it might be. We might be alright. One thing I don't like about spreading fertilizer on a field after the crops have first grown is it's difficult to see where you've been, but we can see quite clearly here that we are giving a coat of fertilizer across here. So that's absolutely fine. I'm quite happy with that. We'll do once around the outside edge of the field, and then I'll let the hired help go and do it, because the hired help is much better at following the lines than I am. And also, that is kind of the point of the series. We're supposed to be getting the hired help to do as much work as possible, and we're managing the farm rather than doing the actual work ourselves this time. At least that's the plan. Doesn't always work out that way, does it? The weeding is almost done over there. This one spreads wider than I first thought. Unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. A massive thank you to everybody who has earned their way into the Great Book of Names. To find out some more details about all the names coming past, please head into the description and click on the link to the Discord. It's a link to another video. The link is on the other video. Please also consider checking out the links there for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers for games like Farming Simulator, Minecraft, Ark, and several others. And there's also Fanatical, who will help support your gaming habit by providing you with cheap games and also giving me a small commission on anything that you buy using my link. If you've enjoyed this particular video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.